Now, Edith, you picked you up for Sunday school?
Oh yeah, she had an old 36 Plymouth, and they lived in, her and her sister lived over in East Lake, and they'd circle around, I'd walk down to the corner, and my mother would give me a nickel to put in the collection.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got to tell you a story about that.
Well, let's hear it.
The Baptist church we went to burnt down. It was on called the Maple Street Baptist Church.
Okay.
I can barely remember it, but so the American Legion across the street said you can use our building for have your services. That was really good of them. It was upstairs.
Uh-huh.
So if you had a nickel to put in a collection, that was a lot of money back then. It really was.
And we're talking during the Depression?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Way before the Second World War.
Yeah.
And so I went up there, and they had the slot machines that they covered them up with army blankets, and they put them against the wall.
Okay.
So I lifted up that blanket, and I saw that big shiny machine there, and it had a slot, said 5 cents on it, and I put that nickel in there and pulled down the crank. Out come about, I don't know, probably $3 worth of nickels.
Oh.
Well, at that time in the class, they'd come around and they'd take up the collection and how many were in the class and how big the collection was. And you got a gold star for the biggest collection. Well, they come around and boy, we got the gold star. You know, we had about $3 and the rest of them only had like 30, 40 cents. Well, then they had our superintendent, the lady superintendent, I can't remember what her name was, but she came around and she wanted to know where that money came from. And they all pointed to me, and they asked me she said, where did you get that from? And
normally you took a nickel.
And I raised up that blanket and showed her that machine, and she was just about threw a fit. Back then, you know, Baptists, they didn't do very much, you know, as far as from getting out of the straight and narrow. And so they didn't know what to do. So they had a little meeting, and they decided that first thing they did is they took the gold star down, and then they decided that they were going to use the devil's money for the Lord's work. So I almost turned to Lutheran.
Did you?